Marijuana's dark side ignored by the mainstream. Imperial Beach Technology Corp. Contributor. We live in a time when lighting up is celebrated. Marijuana has transformed from a once taboo substance into a widely accepted recreational drug, fueling multi-billion-dollar industries and state-driven legalization campaigns. It's marketed as nature's relaxant, a safer alternative to alcohol, and for some, a miracle remedy. But beneath the green smoke of celebration, there's an uncomfortable truth about marijuana that few want to face. It isn't as safe as it's made out to be. As weed's cultural reputation climbs higher, a troubling side to its effects on mental health is often brushed aside, forgotten, in the glow of legalization. What we're not talking about are the stories of people who, after years of regular use, find themselves facing devastating mental health issues like schizophrenia, psychosis, and severe cognitive decline. And the science? It's telling us we should be more concerned than we are. Marijuana, a mental health trigger? It's time we get real about what marijuana does to the brain. Sure, it can make you feel euphoric and relaxed, but heavy users, especially those who start young, are playing a dangerous game. The link between marijuana and psychosis, particularly schizophrenia, is stronger than most people think. Imagine this. You're an everyday teenager, taking part in what feels like a harmless rite of passage, smoking weed with friends. But there's a risk, lurking unseen, that your brain could be rewired in ways that might not show until years later. For some, especially those predisposed to mental illness, that casual habit can be the spark that lights the fuse on a mental health time bomb. Researchers have long known that marijuana disrupts the brain's delicate dopamine balance, the very chemical responsible for keeping your thoughts organized and your perceptions clear. Tweak that balance the wrong way, and you could be on the road to a full-blown psychotic break. A study published in Lancet Psychiatry sent shockwaves through the medical community when it found that regular marijuana users were up to 5 times more likely to develop schizophrenia. For the average person, that might sound like fear-mongering, but for those who've watched a friend descend into paranoia, delusions, or violent outbursts after heavy use, it's a chilling reminder that marijuana's effects aren't just about the mellow vibes. The schizophrenia connection, unmasking a silent threat. One of marijuana's darkest secrets is its ability to unlock latent schizophrenia in individuals who might have never shown symptoms otherwise. This isn't speculation, it's science. Heavy use of marijuana, especially during adolescence, the most critical period of brain development, can act as a trigger for schizophrenia. A 2019 study in JAMA Psychiatry revealed that young, regular users were over twice as likely to experience psychotic disorders later in life. And yet, this side of the conversation remains under the radar. The terrifying reality is that for many, marijuana doesn't just affect your mental health in the moment, it can forever alter how your brain functions. That adolescent weekend smoke session might feel like a fleeting memory, but it can push you closer to the edge of schizophrenia, a condition defined by delusions, paranoia, and hallucinations. The long-term price of chill. But it's not just the psychosis. Marijuana, often seen as the chill drug, comes with cognitive costs that can't be overlooked. For the growing number of heavy users, memory problems, attention deficits, and impaired decision-making have become a harsh reality. If you think the brain can simply bounce back after a few years of smoking, think again. A groundbreaking study published in PNAS, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found that people who started using marijuana as teenagers and continued through adulthood saw a significant drop in IQ, 8 points on average. That's not just forgetting where you put your keys. It's a long-term hit to your ability to focus, plan, and make decisions. And we haven't even touched on the physical toll. Marijuana isn't immune from the risks we associate with other forms of smoking. The heart races, the lungs burn, and for those with pre-existing heart conditions, that joint might just send you into cardiac arrest. Normalizing danger? So why aren't we talking about this? The cultural shift around marijuana has been rapid, and with it comes a normalization of use, especially among younger people who are less likely to perceive it as risky. But that normalization might come at a steep price. While legal marijuana sales rack up billions in profits and politicians celebrate new tax revenues, a growing number of people, particularly teens, are lighting up without understanding the full story. Our mainstream marijuana narrative often glosses over the real dangers. Instead, the focus is on the benefits, the relaxation, the fun. But if we're going to embrace marijuana culturally and legally, we need to start having the hard conversations about its darker side. The euphoria fades, but the impact on mental health can last a lifetime. A public health crisis in the making? We've all heard the pro-legalization arguments. Marijuana is safer than alcohol, people say. It's not addictive like opioids. And sure, you won't see weed fueling bar fights or immediate overdose deaths. But we're starting to see something just as troubling, an unspoken mental health crisis tied directly to heavy marijuana use. The health systems in states with legal weed are already feeling the strain. Emergency rooms report higher instances of cannabis-induced psychosis, and mental health clinics are seeing a rise in patients struggling with drug-induced paranoia. These are the stories that don't make it into the shiny weed shop ads or glossy cannabis magazines. These are the stories that need to be told. The bottom line. Marijuana may have its place in modern society, but we've been sold an image of the drug that's incomplete. For too long, the conversation has focused on its recreational fun and medicinal benefits, leaving its darker impacts, particularly on mental health, out of the spotlight. If we're serious about creating a society that understands the true risks and rewards of marijuana, it's time to start talking about the shadow it casts. So the next time you hear someone say, "It's just weed," remember, the evidence is clear. For some, it's far more than that. The road from relaxation to mental breakdown is shorter than we think. Recorded at Imperial Beach Technology Studios. Video production by Imperial Beach Technology.